Pacific Airlines Flight 773 was a scheduled passenger flight operating on May 7, 1964, that ended in tragedy when a passenger fatally shot both pilots, causing the aircraft to crash. The flight, a Fairchild F-27, was en route from Reno, Nevada to San Francisco, California, with stops in Stockton and Concord. The aircraft carried 44 people, including the crew and passengers. As the flight progressed, a passenger, later identified as Francisco Gonzalez, took control of the situation in a way that would forever mark this flight as one of the earliest known cases of pilot murder-suicide in aviation history. The incident remains one of the deadliest cases of in-flight violence in the United States and serves as a sobering reminder of the vulnerabilities of air travel before strict cockpit security measures were implemented. The aircraft, a twin-engine turboprop, was built to accommodate short-haul regional flights and was operated by Pacific Airlines, a regional carrier that primarily served the western United States. Flight 773 took off as scheduled, without any apparent issues. The crew consisted of experienced pilots, both trained to handle standard aviation procedures and emergencies. At some point during the flight, Francisco Gonzalez, a 27-year-old passenger, entered the cockpit armed with a .357 Magnum revolver. The events that transpired in the next few moments would lead to catastrophic consequences for everyone on board. Gonzalez, who had reportedly been dealing with severe personal and financial difficulties, had purchased a life insurance policy worth a substantial amount before boarding the flight. His intention was to ensure that his family would be financially supported in the wake of his death. This act indicated premeditation, as it suggested that Gonzalez had planned to end his life and, in doing so, take down the aircraft. Similar incidents have occurred in aviation history, but at the time, cockpit security was relatively relaxed, and the idea of a passenger being able to enter the flight deck and take control was not seen as a major threat. As Flight 773 continued its journey, air traffic controllers in Oakland received a chilling final transmission. The crew's last known communication was a desperate, fragmented message indicating that an attack was taking place in the cockpit. The message, recorded by the control tower, captured the pilots' last moments as they struggled to regain control. It was clear that chaos had erupted in the cockpit. Shortly after this transmission, the aircraft went into a rapid descent. Witnesses on the ground reported seeing the plane diving at an almost vertical angle before crashing into a hillside near San Ramon, California. The impact was devastating, leaving no chance of survival for those on board. In the aftermath of the crash, investigators from the Civil Aeronautics Board, CAB, and the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, arrived at the scene to determine the cause. Wreckage was strewn across a wide area, indicating that the aircraft had impacted the ground at high speed. Among the debris, investigators found the revolver used in the attack, confirming that gunfire had taken place inside the cockpit. Autopsies of the pilots revealed gunshot wounds, further solidifying the conclusion that the aircraft was deliberately brought down. Further examination of Francisco Gonzalez's background provided more insight into his possible motives. Reports surfaced that he had been struggling financially and emotionally in the months leading up to the incident. His life insurance policy, taken out shortly before the flight, was a key piece of evidence suggesting that he had planned his actions. This raised troubling questions about airline security and whether more could have been done to prevent such an incident. At the time, passenger screening procedures were minimal, and there were no restrictions on carrying firearms onto commercial flights. Gonzalez had been able to board the plane with his revolver without raising any suspicion. The tragedy of Pacific Airlines Flight 773 led to increased discussions about aviation security and passenger screening procedures. While it would take many more years for comprehensive security measures to be implemented, This incident served as an early warning about the potential risks of allowing passengers unchecked access to aircraft cockpits. The event also highlighted the psychological factors that could drive an individual to commit such an act and the devastating impact it could have on innocent lives. Families of the victims were left devastated by the sudden and violent nature of the crash. In the wake of the tragedy, lawsuits were filed against the airline and the insurance company that had issued the policy to Gonzalez. These legal battles brought attention to the loopholes in life insurance policies that allowed individuals to purchase coverage before committing acts of violence. The recommendations that emerged from the investigation played a role in shaping future policies, although meaningful change took decades to materialize. The legacy of Pacific Airlines Flight 773 extends beyond the tragedy itself. It serves as an example of the dangers posed by individuals with ill intentions and the catastrophic impact such actions can have. The loss of 44 lives remains a painful chapter in aviation history, but it also contributed to the ongoing evolution of airline security measures. While air travel has become significantly safer in the decades since the crash, the story of Flight 773 is a reminder that safety is never absolute. The lessons learned from this incident continue to influence aviation policies today, ensuring that similar tragedies are less likely to occur. The memory of those who perished on May 7, 1964, lives on as a testament to the importance of vigilance and the need for constant improvements in aviation security. If you found this story interesting, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into aviation history and scandals. Your support helps us bring you more content like this. See you in the next one.